kitchen today, and I'll be cooking up some tortellini. And this is a recipe that I've adapted from a recipe from Marley Spoon, which is a meal delivery kit that I used for a few months. And it's tortellini cooked in a creamy tomato sauce with garlic and spinach, and then you put it under the broiler for just a couple minutes with some Parmesan cheese. Very delicious. So let's get started. I'll pull the camera in, show you the ingredients, and I'll get cooking. You'll need some cheese tortellini, a can of diced tomatoes, fresh spinach, cream cheese, garlic, and Parmesan cheese. This is actually, I'm using Parmigiano Reggiano. You'll also need olive oil and water, salt and pepper, Italian seasoning, and a little bit of sugar. I'll chop up some garlic. And you can use as much as you want, obviously, to taste. I think you want to use at least a couple of teaspoons. So I'll just keep peeling this garlic. And I'll set the garlic aside, and I have my tortellini here. And this bag is a 20-ounce bag, and I don't want to cook all of it, it's just for 2 people, so I'll just use 10 ounces of that. And so I've measured out here 10 ounces, and I wouldn't usually measure it out if I'm just cooking it, but just so you can see how much I'm using. I have a 12-inch skillet, and this is an oven-proof skillet, and you'll want to use oven-proof because we're going to put it under the broiler at the end. And I'm going to warm up about 2 tablespoons of oil and medium-high heat. I'll put my tortellini in there. And you want it in one even layer. And I'll put a little salt and pepper. And you're going to just brown the bottom of the tortellini for about 2 to 3 minutes without stirring it. And what we want is it to get golden brown on the bottom. Again, I haven't stirred it around at all. And it looks pretty nicely browned. And it's been about 2 minutes. Now I'll add a half a cup of water. I'll keep it covered and cook it for 5 minutes. And my heat is kind of high. I had it on medium high, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it down to about medium. It's been simmering for 5 minutes. I'll turn the heat off, and I'll remove the tortellini onto a plate. And I'll just hold it on the plate while I prepare the sauce. And if you can see, that's how it looks right now. You can see all the pretty golden brown on the bottom. Before I start cooking the sauce, I'm going to take my diced tomatoes, and this is a 14.5-ounce can. I'm going to go ahead and put them in a bowl. And I'm going to mash them up with a potato masher. And you can do it in your pan if you're using a pan that you don't have to worry about getting scratched up. But this particular pan, I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk scratching the pan. So I'll just use my potato masher and mash up these tomatoes just a little bit. Okay, I've got them all mashed up. And you can see the consistency. It's just like a nice chunky sauce now. And if you want a smoother sauce, you can always throw the tomatoes in the blender and blend them. So for now, I'll just set these aside and I'll cook up the garlic. I'll put about a tablespoon of oil in my pan, my same pan. I think I did a little more than a tablespoon there. And I will turn it on to about medium heat. Warm that oil up. And here's the garlic. And I did go ahead and measure this out of curiosity, and it's about 1.5 tablespoons. So again, like I mentioned, just use however much garlic that you like. You can't really ever have too much garlic as far as I'm concerned. And we're going to saute that in the oil for just about 1 minute, just till it starts getting fragrant and light brown. And the garlic smells wonderful. It's just getting light brown. Now I'll add my tomatoes. All of them go right in there. And I'll use my rubber spatula to make sure I get everything out of the bowl. I'll add 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. Some salt, pepper, and some Italian seasoning. I would say that's about 1 teaspoon. Stir that together. I'll bring it to a boil, and once it's boiling, I'll boil it for 5 minutes. It's come to a nice boil. I'll turn it down to low. Just enough to keep it at a simmer, and again, simmer for 5 minutes. Okay, it's nice and thick. Now I'll add my cream cheese. And this is 2 ounces of cream cheese. And I did leave it out so it's at room temperature. And all I'm doing is just melting it in here. Now that the cream cheese is melted, I'll add my spinach. And this is spinach leaves, and there's 3 ounces here. It looks like a lot, but it wilts down really quickly. And I washed it and dried it with my salad spinner, which I did a demo on one of my videos, and I'll link to that at the end of this video in case you want to see it. And I'll just add about half of that spinach and stir it in and let it get wilted there and incorporate it into the sauce. I'll bring it up to a simmer again. And then I'll add the rest of my spinach. And then just stir that in there. And I'll just cook that spinach for about a minute in the sauce. Now I will add my tortellini back in. Just use my fingers here. And remember, the tortellini is all nice and cooked. And I'll just fold that sauce all over the tortellini. I'll turn my heat off. Now I'll take my Parmesan, and again, Parmesan or Reggiano, just use your favorite Parmesan cheese. And I'll just sprinkle it over. I don't measure this, I just kind of coat the top. Now it's ready to put under the broiler. I've got some spinach, the tortellini. So good. There you have it, a delicious tortellini meal. And I like this just as it is, but if you do want more substance, you can add some grilled chicken. I'm sure it would be great. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.